Let me tell you, nobody who saw what happened on Eagle's Nest Ridge that morning would ever forget it. You want a hook? Try this. The woman everyone said didn't belong in their unit, the sniper they laughed at behind her back, did something so impossible that it rewrote the rules for what a soldier could be and made her doubters question everything they believed about themselves. And you know what? I saw it with my own eyes. Staff Sergeant Sarah Chun didn't look like anyone's idea of the best shot in the desert. But sometimes you've got to let the facts walk in and slap your stereotypes in the face. The wind was brutal, the dust even worse, and she was hauling around that Barrett M82 and won a rifle so heavy most folks treat it like gym equipment, all while her team, led by Rodriguez, basically acted like she'd shown up to a car race with a spaceship. Rodriguez, man, he was classic. The kind of sergeant who figured real snipers did things his way. And if you brought your own equipment, God help you, if it looked fancier than standard issue, you were just compensating or showing off. The morning of the mission, he had the whole squad chuckling. What's with the fancy glass, Chun? You trying to see the future? Real leadership, right? If you're into reruns. But here's the truth. While he was busy sneering, Sarah was running through every variable you can think of: wind direction, bullet drop, temperature gradients, the Coriolis effect, even how the sun's heat would bend the air between her and the target. Because, see, Sarah didn't just shoot, she calculated, and that's the difference between a marksman and a legend. Mission briefing, 0700 sharp, everybody's half awake and already sweating. The target, Halil al-Mansuri, a ghost with blood on his hands and more lives hanging in the balance than anyone wanted to count. He'd picked a spot nobody sane would try to hit 3,400 meters away, up in the Al-Rashid Valley, buried behind counter-sniper teams and heavy weapons, with escape routes like some kind of Bond villain. Rodriguez went straight for a frontal assault plan, which I'm telling you, even a rookie could see was basically, let's get everyone killed. Private Emma Walsh, bless her heart, actually raised her hand and asked if there was a way that didn't involve walking straight into a meat grinder. And Sarah, sitting on the edge, already knew there was, but she also knew Rodriguez wasn't about to listen. What most folks didn't know was that Sarah used to dominate shooting competitions back home. Not just win, but smoke every guy on the range, set records, and do it with a quiet confidence that made people uncomfortable. She learned to tune out the noise, and that's what she did now. While Rodriguez divided the team up by the manual, Sarah scouted the map, looking for the one firing position nobody else would even dream of trying. Corporal Jake Thompson, the comms guy, was one of the few who actually noticed what she was doing. He kept glancing her way, like he wanted to say something, but was stuck between loyalty and common sense. You know how it is in the military. Hierarchy always comes first. But Private Walsh, she had no such filter, and you could see the awe on her face as Sarah explained how a bullet behaves in the desert, how the heat changes everything, how at 2 miles even the planet's rotation starts to matter. Then came the twist. New intel. The enemy had deployed counter-sniper teams with thermal gear, meaning every safe spot was now a death trap unless you could shoot further than anyone in the world. Suddenly, Sarah's unnecessary scope, her custom-loaded rounds, and all her years of competitive shooting looked less like overkill and more like exactly what the mission needed. Rodriguez still wouldn't budge, but even he was sweating as the options evaporated. Let me back up a sec. All this time, Sarah's been prepping like her life depended on it, because it did. Every round was hand-loaded, every tool checked, and every variable logged in her head, like she was running her own private science fair. It's a weird kind of calm, the way she worked, and Private Walsh just stood by, trying to absorb it all. Meanwhile, Rodriguez was getting more and more frantic, his plan falling apart, until HQ finally ordered, use every asset. Get the job done. No exceptions. That's when everything snapped into focus. Sarah finally got the go-ahead. She crawled to her position, feeling every eye on her, and set up her shot. The world shrank to the view through her scope. 3,412 meters, a distance nobody had ever made in combat. With the wind shifting, heat haze boiling off the valley floor, and less than 4 seconds to change history. She exhaled. The rifle roared. For a split second, nothing happened. Then, through the haze, Al-Mansuri dropped. The radio erupted. The enemy went berserk, firing blind. running for cover from a shooter they couldn't even see. Rodriguez just stared, like someone had unplugged his brain. Yeah, that happened. The extraction was chaos, but Sarah was unflappable. Private Walsh in awe asked, "How did you make that shot?" Sarah just smiled. Impossible is just another word for what most people don't bother preparing for. You could hear a pin drop, even with the choppers coming in. Back at base, the fallout was immediate. Al-Mansuri's death shattered the arms network, caused panic across half the region, and sent a message no terrorist would forget. Nowhere was safe. Senior officers started showing up, debriefing the whole team. Rodriguez, to his credit, admitted he'd been wrong, pushed for Sarah's promotion, and told HQ to use her skills next time instead of sidelining them. But the most satisfying part? 6 months later, Sarah's standing in front of the Army's best at sniper school, teaching both men and women that limits only exist in other people's minds. That scope Rodriguez mocked? Now it's the gold standard, manufacturers studying it like the Mona Lisa. And the next generation, the ones who used to think that's impossible, they're running the calculations, pushing past where Sarah left off. You know what I mean? Sometimes, one person's breakthrough cracks the door open for everyone else. The shot everyone said couldn't be made became the lesson every soldier had to learn. Now, tell me, do you believe impossible is just a word or a wall? Because after what happened on Eagle's Nest Ridge, I'm not so sure there's a difference. Let's talk about it. Where do you draw the line between genius and madness, between tradition and innovation? Was Rodriguez's skepticism justified, or did it nearly get the team killed? I want to hear your take. What would you have done? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep this story alive.